Sir, Ronaldo, sir. Good evening, sir.
Ma'am, good evening.
Sir, let's start the session, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, we can start.
Sir, Santa madam, are you there?
Yes, madam.
You can start the program, ma'am.
Yes, madam. A warm and pleasant, very good evening, one and all present here. It gives me an immense pleasure to welcome you all to the fourth day session of our one-week career development program on developing pharmaceutical calculations tools through programming, a hands-on demonstrations organized by Periyar College of Pharmaceutical Sciences in association with Sinicon Labs Private Limited, Kanyakumari. On behalf of Periyar College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, I am very happy and excited to welcome our respected Principal Madam, Dr. R. Sendamari Madam, respected faculty members, resource persons, and my dear participants joining us today. So far through our previous session, we have been getting introduced to the role of computational skills and programming in the field of pharmaceutical sciences. Each session have given us a new perspective on how these skills can be useful in our academic and professions journey. And as we move forward, we are going to explore this concept in a more practical and interesting way. Now, I invite Dr. Ronaldo Anop sir to take the session, guide us through today's hands-on demonstration.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for the warm words of introduction. So today we will start with the session. 1 second, I'll share my screen. Sir, please enable Ronaldo Anop.
Sir, already enabled, sir.
Share பண்ண முடிய மாட்டேங்குது மேடம். Post disabled. Sinicon Labs is enabled. Ronaldo
He is also enabled, sir, as a co-host.
yes, okay. Okay, so can you hear me? Yes. The slide visible? Can we continue?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So, last class we have discussed about the first topic or the first unit, maybe we can call it like first unit. We have gone through like what is Google Colab, then how we can be oriented toward that. அதில் ரொம்ப முக்கியமாக தெரிஞ்சுக்க வேண்டிய விஷயங்கள் என்னென்ன, what is IDE, how that environment is created, what are the components in that environment, how we can operate with Google Colab. So we had few discussions related to that, and today we will start with the crux of the programming, like what is a variable or what is an integer. Like today we will be dealing with these areas: variables, what is an integer, what is a float, string, boolean, typecasting, arithmetic, comparison, logical operators. These are very small topics, but very much correlated to the programming knowledge. We'll have an idea on those things, and if time permits, we'll start with the problem-based learning. And we will also have few small research problems just to make you adapted to that small pharmaceutical calculation, just to bring you confidence. We also brought up there. So today's session will go like this. We'll first start with the Python syntax, then variables and data types, followed by operators, input and output, and then pharmaceutical calculations. And we will also focus on three small problems just to check the understanding of things, and followed by which we will go into if-else statements. So yeah, so before going into today's programming session, I want to give you a glimpse of the basic terms, like what is a variable, what is a data type, what is an operation. All these things we should have a very base understanding. And for that, of course, I can give you a few examples and then I will move on. Actually, when we start with the Python programming, there are 10 important terms to master with. 10 important terms to master with. If you need to be expertise in Python. These are the areas which we confuse. Uh, Say, for example, if you are operating with some codes and if you are stuck up with some error, the basic understanding of these 10 important terms will actually help you to come out of that error. It will actually help you to do the debugging by yourself. And you can also design your program if you have the basic fundamental of all these things. So, first, my plan is to expose you to all these fundamental terms to the possible extent. That is what is also expected in the syllabus. And then we will enter slowly into programming, applying these concepts. And whatever we are planning to learn here, we'll try to apply there in the programs, right? So, a program can be called as a collection of instructions, right? It is a set of instructions which it needs to follow, which your Python needs to follow. And a statement is one specific instruction that we name it as statements. Then we have keyword. Keyword are like reserved seats. Say, for example, few seats inside an auditorium will be reserved. That will be allowed only for a VIP or some chief guest who is coming over there. Like words, Python has already reserved some words like print, like if, else. I will show you some examples. We have some examples in the slides also. Those we call it as keywords, right? So this is also one of the important terms which you should know, that these keywords cannot be included in general statements. These keywords cannot be included in normal statements or something like that. So this is point number. Point number 4, variable. We call it as like variable. Variable is something like a container in which we can store the things, right? Or group the things. I'll show you an example. It is difficult to understand when I am telling the concept, but when we come with some examples, it will be easy for you. And value is something which is stored in the variable. Like a variable can be a drug, value can be metformin. And that's the difference between a variable and a value. A variable can hold more than one value. It can hold more than one information, right? That grouping, we call it as variable and value. Then there are different data types, like we have string, like or text, we have integers, we have float, we have Boolean operators. These are the different data types which are used in programming approaches. Then we have different operators, which is purely for performing calculations. Then we call something like a function. Function is perfectly to perform a task. And at last, we have argument. Arguments can be like it is an information which is passed to the function. I'll show you with all examples. So these are the 10 different things. And for a beginner, uh, like this can be also equated to a language, right? The structural framework is program statement and keywords. Like data, what we are going to transfer through this language. This is variable, value, and data type. And action verbs, what we use to do that is operator, function, and argument. Some people also use this as an analogy to help the people to understand what is the importance of these 10 important variables. And this structural framework is very important. The mastering these terms are very important. Only when you get a clear understanding of these things, you will be confident enough to proceed with the programming aspect on your own. So to compare with, I told you that there are 9 to 10 different statements. To compare with, words are always equal to keywords and symbols, right? Grammar is always equal to syntax. Sentence is always equal to statements. Paragraph is always equal to like programs. And communication with people is similar to communication with computer. This is what is how you need to deal when you are trying to enter into the programming system. You are trying to talk to the computer with a strict grammar. Grammar is nothing but your Python. Python is that language and these terms we can call it as grammar. So when you speak, you follow a grammar, right? Similarly, when you try to use this programming, you want to try to learn this fundamentals, right? Coming back. So we will start with the programming approach, right? So you would have calculated the drug dose, right? Yes. How will you calculate a drug dose? Any formula, chat box? Any formula in the chat box? Well, I am not familiar with these areas. Since we are from pharma background, we'll start with the formula, right? So how can we calculate this drug dosage? Drug dosage, required dosage, or to make you familiarize with, we need to calculate, or we need the computer program to automate or to identify a required dosage for a patient, right? ஒரு பேஷண்ட் உங்ககிட்ட வர்றாங்க, பேஷண்டோட பாடி வெயிட் தெரியுது, அந்த ட்ரக் வாட் ஹேஸ் டு பி த டோஸ் பர் கிலோகிராம் அப்படிங்கிறது, யூ ஹாவ் அ நாலேஜ், யூ ஹாவ் த டேட்டா வித் யூ, த டோஸ் வேல்யூ இஸ் லைக் திஸ், and from that you are supposed to calculate the required dose. You would have crossed through this equation, right? How will you calculate the required dose? Required dose எதெல்லாம் டிபெண்ட் பண்ணி இருக்கும்? Something which is shown here is not the exact formula, but நம்ம படிச்சிருப்போம் டோசேஜ் எப்படி கொடுக்குறாங்க, required dosage எப்படி டிட்டர்மைன் பண்ணுவோம். ஒரு ட்ரக் ஒரு பேஷண்ட்டுக்கு கொடுக்கணும்னா how will we determine the required dosage? How will we determine the required dosage? Any idea? Yes,
Sir, by
no.
using Young formula.
Yeah, we use some formula, right? What is the
Young
formula?
formula, sir. Young formula.
Yeah, can somebody put in the chat box? So that,
YOUNG.
yeah. Dose is equal to required dose is equal to, we take into consideration two important things. Weight into dose per kilogram, if I am right. Right? These are the
Weight.
two things. Yeah, correct. These are the two things which is taken into consideration when you are trying to design. Yeah, I think somebody, yeah, based on BMI. Right. What the expected answer was like, I cannot type now. Okay, right. I can just
Dose
see
is
your. Okay, yeah. So required dose is equal to weight into dose per kilogram. Very simple formula, right? So this formula we are going to apply here. We need to communicate this formula to the computer. This is the first step. Whenever you are going to start the Python programming, we need to communicate to the computer. See, I will give you some values. You are going to use it equivalent to a calculator. You do this calculation part and give it to me. For whatever dose I give you, whatever weight I give you, in a simple case, you just do the calculation and provide me the result in a particular format. So this is what is the first program which you are going to discuss today. So Python will follow a 4-step flow. So first thing is, you should be very clear about the problem. Like now I told you, the problem is required dosage calculation. So you should be very clear about the problem. You should have a very clear-cut idea that you are going to calculate the drug dosage for a particular person. Second thing is, you need to have all the required data with you, and you are supposed to provide the data to the computer. The second thing. So you should have that clarity. What data would be required? What are the data which is required in that particular formula or for the particular calculation? And you should be very thorough or very clear that that data has been given as an input to the computer. Step number 3 is the logic. Python has to apply that logic. Logic in the sense, we can also call it like the formula. Python has to be also aware about the formula, what formula it is expected to do the calculation with the given input. So that logic has to be taught to the computer, or that logic has to be applied in your programming. And finally, if all these things are clear, you can expect the Python to give you a correct required answer. So this is the step, universal 4-step flow. This can vary from case to case. If you are required, means I came through few examples like how to calculate the infusion rate. Uh, the same thing applies. If you know the formula for the infusion rate, it is very easy for us to calculate the infusion rate with this simple concept. We'll have 3 examples today during our class hour. So first I will tell you what is what. So I told you that Python is a set of instructions. Python or a program is a set of instructions, and each statement is an instruction, a particular instruction. So every one, the second, third thing which I want to tell to you from this slide is that Python operates strictly from top to bottom. It comes by executing one by one, one by one. Each instruction will be understood and will be executed unless you give a specialized command or any other special conditions is applied over there. So that is the third thing which I want to tell to you, which you should not forget. Fourth thing, when you are going for a programming approach, make sure that you label in the most perfect way. Your labeling has to be correct, right? You should not give any irrelevant data when you are trying to label. So I will give you an example, like we call it like a variable, right? So in this case, the variable is the first case. You can see that there is something called as the weight and something called as the value. So here the variable is the container. I told you to equate variable with a container, right? The same thing. Variable is the container. The container is weight and value is XP. Don't forget that. Similarly, in the second example, you can see that drug is the variable and the value is metformin. Okay. Now, when you are trying to code this information to the system, you should code it properly. No temporary coding and all. Variables should not be like a small letters. It should be always case sensitive, right? You should not put unnecessarily like capital letter or small letter. Should not confuse like that. I have given you the names. No unnecessary space when you are trying to define the variable. And if space commits, you should put that under means the appropriate symbol, and then you should proceed with the data. So this is how it needs to be done, and you need to do it in a perfect way. Please take a note of this important rule. If you are making any mistakes here, automatically there will be some problem when you are trying to execute it. So no unnecessary space, take a note of it. Then, okay, this is what is variable is about. Value is about. Variable is something like a container, and value is something which is encoded on it, which is stored on that variable. So the first 3-4 terms we have gone through. Next is the different data types I told you. So weight is always integer, right? Like numbers, the whole number we call it as integer, right? Any floating numbers like temperature, we call it as float, right? We call it as float. We need to code that value. If you are supposed to, in some case, if you are supposed to get an input, we need to code that as float. If there is decimal point in the data, we are going to deal with the data where decimal point is, we need to label it as float. Third one, if you want to type some names or provide some names as value, like here in this case, the example what I have given, drug is equal to metformin, right? Okay, in drug is equal to metformin, what is the variable? Can you somebody put in the chat box? Drug is equal to variable. Drug is equal to, sorry, metformin. Drug is equal to metformin. Which is the variable? Which is the value? Yes, which is the variable? Which is the value? Variable is drug is what? Mubin? Yeah. Metformin is value and drug is variable. Exactly. And since the value is a text, it should be written in quotes, double quotes. Another golden rule, please don't forget. When your value is a text, when your value is a continuous written statement for your understanding purpose. If it is a text, it will be considered as a string by the computer, and always the string has to be provided in double quotes. Don't forget. Yes, sir. Everybody agreed? Yes. Like fourth one.
Sir, on a few minutes, on announcement, actually, we have not muted the mic of the participants. You can interact with the sir, and after interaction, you can mute your mic.
Okay. No issues, ma'am. Chat box is also okay. I'm following
Mm.
it. No
Okay, sir.
problem.
Okay.
So if
Thank
there is any doubts, they can post in the chat box. Not an
you.
issue.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Fourth one is the Boolean. So Boolean operator, it is like an operator, right? For in the case of Boolean, right, equal to is always not an operator. Equal to is equal to is always a Boolean, right? And you have conditions like true or false. These are all Boolean values, right? So these are some of the things which you need to keep into mind. When you are feeding a number, is double quotes required? When you are feeding or giving input as a number, is double quotation required? Question mark. Is it required? Yes or no? நம்பருக்கு டபுள் கோட்ஸ் கொடுக்கணுமா என்டர் பண்றப்போ இல்ல கம்ப்யூட்டருக்கு சொல்லி கொடுக்கறப்போ கொடுக்கணுமா நோ தேங்க்யூ ரைட் இஃப் யூ ஆர் கோயிங் டு கிவ் a name of a drug or something like a text, should it be given in double quotes? Yes or no? Yes, right. இதுதான் difference. So input value நீங்க கொடுக்கறப்போ ஞாபகம் வச்சுங்க, even if I commit that mistake when I am trying to teach you during the typing process or when I am trying to write the code for you, please you try to correct me out that I have done something error in that particular part and that is why that error has come. Okay, so next is operators, different operators which you are going to use in the programming approach. So in the operator use பண்ணிக்கங்க. You can use arithmetic operators, no problem. Plus, minus, divide, positive, everything can be taken, no problem. Comparison based operators can be taken for your purpose. Greater than or equal to, whatever may be the case, you can take. Case number 3, you can use logical operators and or not for some condition based logical reasoning. You can use logical operators. It's not at all a matter, but some are keywords. It is reserved, right? When you use the signal is equal to, it is not actually equal to, which we use in the normal mathematical conditions, is equal to, is going to store the information. In this case, I have given you something in a black box. Dose is equal to 500. What is dose here? Variable or an operator or an integer, or what is dose here? I've shown you an example. Dose is equal to 500. Doseங்கிறது என்னது? Variable. Yes. What is 500? Dose is variable, right? Value. That's it. Simple. So value is different. Variable is different. Value can change in a variable. So the differences is very much important. And is equal to is not the same. Is equal to when you use in your mathematical calculation. Is equal to somewhere you are telling the system that store this particular thing in that container. Store this particular thing in that variable. So this is how you want to do that assessment, right? Next thing is functions, right? Functions. Next important thing. Functions are to inform the computer to perform a specific task using the argument you provide. I've shown here below at the bottom. So input, enter the weight. Enter weight is an argument. Right? Enter weight is an argument. It is the exact information you want. It's the exact. I think the screen is hiding for you. Okay. It is the exact information you feed into. Argument now the information which you are supposed to feed, which you are supposed to enter, that is called as an argument. Function is a task. Like you want to print. Yesterday I showed you an example. Print in double quotes, I put it as Ronaldo. That's done. Ronaldo is the argument there. Print is the function there. Done. Right? So that is the difference. Don't ever forget that function is a task. Right? Function is a task. A function can be defined under some conditions. Note it down. It will be useful when you are studying define option. Right? Function is always a task. An argument is something or the exact information which you want to feed. Exact information which you want to feed. Enter the weight. This is an argument. This gives you an idea of what has to be entered inside the system, right? Okay. So this is also one important term which you should be aware with. And third one, parenthesis. Or parenthesis is something which a function will process. Whatever is inside that parenthesis will be processed. The argument has to be in parenthesis. You want something to be progressed, so it always comes with a function. So whenever it is, only when it is provided in that particular parenthesis, it will be considered and it will be processed, or else it will not be processed. So parenthesis is very important. Codes is very important. I just told you, in which cases we will be using a code. We just discussed about that. In which cases it will consider this as a code is required. String, when the value is a string. When the value is a string, or else it will consider that as a variable. When the value is a string, right? When the value is a text, the value is not a number, you need to use that double quote. So I think you are all familiar with that, right? So, and last one is colons, right? Colons and indentation. Colons is something which I have shown in the zoom, right? That magnification symbol, that double, this colon is trying to give a symbol or a signal to the system. A block of code is going to start. Be prepared. Like when you write a paragraph, the first line, you'll give a tab space, right? The same story. So the first line, when it a block of codes, or like similarly when we start with if or if else or some conditional formatting and all, this will be required. In those cases, we will give the computer a signal that this all these particular instructions come under some particular heading, right? So in such cases, we will be providing a colon at the top, especially during if or if else statements will be providing in particular case. An indentation is a small tab or a small space. Just below that indicates that this particular content is a part of the whole thing, right? Like I told you, like it is very much similar to that of a paragraph. So if it is a group of set of instructions, usually such instructions will be given in this manner. If those is equal to greater than 100, then print as high dose. In such cases and all, that a colon will be at the top, and the following lines which are below that will be provided with intention. It is especially in the case of if or else or some advanced programming strategies, just to make the system easily understand, to understand it in a better way, we used to provide this, right? And it is like you write one page completely without no space or no tab or something like that. How it looks like continuous stretch of words. It will be very difficult for us to read and interpret. The same situation comes over here, right? So we need to put an extra space. We can put a tab in addition to that. All these will try to help us out to improve the readability of that particular content which you are trying to communicate to the other side. The same thing in the programming, when you are trying to communicate something to the system, this indentation, this is called as indentation. The intent what we are trying to provide and this colon what you are trying to provide will help the system to understand in a more readable way. This is why we use this function. Last, keywords. Keywords is also one important parameter which you should not forget. Keywords, there are specific keywords which are VIP only, which are reserved, right? If you cannot use as a variable, else you cannot use as a variable. Not a variable, not a value. For cannot be used as a variable or a value. Diff, defining a function. Def cannot be used as a value or a variable. It defines a function. True cannot be used. None cannot be used. So there are set of uh, a keyword. We call it as keyword because they already have a predefined meaning in the system. So when there is a predefined meaning, it cannot be used as a value name or it cannot be used as a variable name. It is better to avoid such keywords. If such keywords are being randomly used, then automatically the system can recognize it as an error and it could not process it. Okay, so is it clear? Yes. So creating a variable, this is the syntax. Please take a note of the syntax, right? You are going to write the program for me. So this is how we will be exactly doing. We will be exactly doing. For creating a variable, we need to provide the variable in this format. Variable is equal to value. This is the syntax. With this syntax, we are going to try something today. Second thing, to execute a function, we will use this function in a bracket argument. Write this somewhere or take a screenshot. With this help, you are going to give me some example. Third one, for performing a function, you can use this, like use arithmetic operators, like answer is equal to value 1 plus value 2. Use arithmetic operators, and right, value 1 and value 2 will be added and it will be stored in a variable called answer. Right? Now I'm talking to you in the language of Python. Value 1 is separate, value 2 is separate. Both these things are operated with the help of an operator, and it is stored in a variable called answer. Now, output to the screen, print answer, right? So that variable is now subjected to a function what we have indicated. The function what we have indicated is print. And last is, if in some situation you request for an input, in such situation you can provide like input, enter a value. So input can be used. In some situations, there will be a request for you to provide an input. In such situations, you can use this command line for. So this is the general syntax, the starting point which you should be aware with. So please take a note of it, either a screenshot or by some way, please take a note of it so that it will be helpful for you in the coming cases. Example. So, yes. Okay. Now this is the this is one example. Okay, I want you to calculate or try to provide me, use the syntax, right? Use the syntax. I'll give you some instructions, follow it, and if possible, try to provide me a code. I will do it in the Colab for you, and we'll try to check out whether the system is able to recognize or not. Can we? Yes, in the chat box if you are with me. Yes, I will give you some set of instructions. Okay, right. So, okay, now I want to calculate. I want to calculate your, as I told you, we just discussed, right? Required dosage, right? I want you to give system and input variable weight and the corresponding value. Any corresponding value, like it can be 60, right? For that, you need to write the command. Then second, you need to provide the right weight is given. Input the variable dose per kilogram and provide some corresponding value. The corresponding value can be 5. And then the formula you are going to type in the chat box. I'm going to help. Then print the required dose. Any guess? Just follow the 4 instructions and try to just type something in the Nale line, the only 4 lines. Very simple formula. 2 variables are required, right? Sorry, 3 variables, right? The equation, the variable going to be coded in the equation, the variable X, the variable Y, the variable to be coded in the equation, and you are going to print it. That's it. Only 4 lines. Make a try. நீங்களே input கொடுத்துடுறீங்க. பேஷண்டோட வெயிட் எவ்வளோன்ட்டு நீங்களே யூ ஆர் ட்ரைங் டு கிவ் இட் அஸ் அன் இன்புட். பேஷண்டோட டோஸ் எவ்வளோன்னு நீங்களே ட்ரை பண்ண போறீங்க. யூ ஆர் கோயிங் டு கிவ் தட் அஸ் அன் இன்புட். அண்ட் தேர்ட் ஒன் இஸ் யூ ஆர் கோயிங் டு கிவ் த ஃபார்முலா. அதை எந்த வேரியபிளில் கோட் பண்ணி வச்சிருக்கணும்னு பார்த்துக்கிங்க. நீங்களே ஒரு ஃபார்முலா, அந்த கரெக்டான ஃபார்முலா கொடுத்துருங்க. அண்ட் ஃபைனலி அந்த அந்த ஃபார்முலாவோட ஆன்சர் என்ன வருதோ தட் யூ நீட் டு பிரிண்ட் இட் அண்ட் டேக் இட் அவுட். கேன் யூ ட்ரை? எஸ் ஆர் நோ? பைத்தான் இஸ் ஈஸி. ஜஸ்ட் மேக் அ ட்ரை. டைப் சம்திங். நீங்க ஏதாவது எழுதுங்க. நீங்க எழுதுறதுல இருந்து ஐ வில் டெவலப். Whatever you understood, from that you can start. Whatever is understood, you can start. And anyway, there is no big theory. You will just write the formula, enjoy how that formula is being operated by the system, how system is able to interpret our language. That's it. So are you writing? Or yes, போட்டுட்டு you plan for the, yeah, I think there are some messages in the chat box. Okay, somebody ready? Are you trying? Yes. I'm waiting for your answers. Can somebody provide me some 4 answers? Means அந்த 4 லைனுமே இன்புட்டும் நம்மளே கொடுக்குறோம், பேஷண்டோட வெயிட் எவ்வளவுன்னு நம்மளே கொடுக்குறோம். Patient means for the drug, what is the dose per kilogram accepted limit, that we also that amount is also we are going to provide, and we are going to give the formula for calculation of the required dose. Yes, I have got some answers. Required dose, yeah, of course, required dose is 300, but how we are going to do that in programming language? இந்த 300 calculation நான் சொன்னேன்ல, பைத்தான ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அப்ளிகேஷன் ஒரு கால்குலேட்டரா யூஸ் பண்ண ட்ரை பண்ணுவோம். கால்குலேட்டர்ல நம்ம என்ன பண்ணுவோம், 60 ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ட்ரை பண்ணுவோம், செகண்ட் 5 டைப் பண்ணுவோம், தென் ரைட் யூ வில் இன்க்ளூட் த ஆப்ரேட்டர் மல்டிப்ளிகேஷன் சிம்பிள், யூ வில் கெட் த 300. இந்த இந்த கால்குலேட்டர் பண்ற வேலையை இப்போ நவ் தட் பைத்தான் ஹேஸ் டு டு. ஸோ ஹவ் வில் யூ, யா, somebody x equal to 6, y is equal to 5, z equal to x star y. Sir, you are almost close to that, but we have missed that important 90% right, sir. But one rule we have skipped it. அதை மட்டும் கரெக்ட் பண்ணிட்டீங்கன்னா ஓகே. இந்த ரூல் மட்டும், ஆல்வேஸ் the variable should have some meaning like this: patient weight, drug name, tablet strength. இந்த மாதிரி ஏதாவது மீனிங்ஃபுல்லா இருந்ததுன்னா it will be helpful, right? Very good, very good. We are refining it. Excellent. Weight is equal to 60, dose per kilogram is equal to 5. Excellent. We are coming close. அவ்வளவுதான், programming is done. Yes, required dosage is equal to weight into dose per kg. That's it. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Right. Now I think we will try it in the Python. Okay. Okay, I'm going to use a new notebook in Drive. My Google Colab is ready. I hope you all would have tried something out of there, right? Okay, so I'm first going to write something. Dosage calculation. Okay, for understanding. Right, now I'm going to start the programming. Weight is equal to 60, right? Dose per kilogram is equal to 5. I'm going to type, right? Required dose is equal to weight.
Sir, all caps is there, sir.
Yes. Thank you. Weight into dose per kg. Okay. Print. அது மட்டும் கொடுக்கல, so I am writing on behalf. Print required dose யூனிட்டும் கொடுக்க ட்ரை பண்ணிடுவோம். மில்லிகிராம் வரதா செக் பண்ணிடுவோம், ரைட்? required dose. Required dose, yeah. Why this type analyst?
Sir, it's there in the chat box print.
Yeah,
Correct,
please.
sir?
I have taken it for you. We can try for saving time. Yes. Next. So we have done somewhere some mistake in the from the chat box, the space and all these limitations we have missed. So as such, very simple. Weight நீங்க கொடுத்துக்கங்க as the input. Dose per kg அப்படி கொடுத்துக்கங்க. Dose is equal to appropriate spaces are required. When we are missing the spaces, the recognition is not done. Right? Dose per kg. Then you use the print. Dose ஓட value நீங்க அதில் entry பண்ணிக்கங்க. So that's it.
Sir,
If
it's
required,
a
you
question
can
is there in a chat box, sir. Without quotes, it gives answer.
without quotes கிடையாதுமா. No. Quotes கொடுத்தாதான் அது recognize ஆகும். இல்லைன்னா it will not recognize. That's it. Yes, that's it. ஸோ இதில் என்ன நடந்தது அப்படிங்கிறத மட்டும் உங்களுக்கு நான் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணுறேன். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லைனில் வெயிட் இஸ் ஈக்குவல் டு 60 இன்புட் கொடுத்துட்டோம். செகண்ட் லைனில் டோஸ் பர் கிலோகிராம் இஸ் ஈக்குவல் டு 5. வி ஹவ் கிவன் தி இன்புட் இன் தி செகண்ட் லைன் எவ்வளவுங்கிறது. தேர்ட் லைன் ரிக்வயர்ட் டோஸ் அப்படிங்கிற டேட்டா உங்களுக்கு தேவை, அதை கால்குலேட் பண்ண ட்ரை பண்ணுறீங்க. ஸோ திஸ் ரிக்வயர்ட் டோசேஜ் இஸ் ஈக்குவல் டு எக்ஸ். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் சார் சொன்ன மாதிரியே the x is nothing but the weight into y. So y is nothing but the dose which you have given. And now we are going to print this third variable required dose. So print la enna function varano, what has to be given as the text. Inga neenga type பண்ற required dose inga அப்படியே வந்துரும். And what the value has to come, right? That will be taken from the third important variable required dose. இங்க என்ன calculate பண்ணி என்ன value in the variable store ஆகுதோ that will be taken here and it will be shown with that unit. இதுதான் simple thing, right? Now the naming will be written, that's all. So this is the simple nomenclature what you can use to calculate this thing. So you can also try if you are in the system, you can use it, try பண்ணி பார்த்துக்கலாம். And somebody who have completed can come up with the next program. The second program which we are going to target with calculation of total dosage. I'll give you the formula. If somebody is good in doing the calculation, you can do. Total dose is equal to strength into tablets, right? Strength matlab the strength of the means the dose in milligram into number of tablets. right? So, can somebody can come up with the program to calculate this? We will try it again. This is another simple calculation which can be done by you. I want to calculate the total dosage. You can provide the strength and மேல அப்படியே எக்ஸாம்பிள் இருக்குது, நீங்க அதை பார்த்தே கூட ட்ரை பண்ணலாம். Strength of the drug and number of tablets. Anybody? Can you type the program? சும்மா ஒரு ட்ரை எடுத்து பாருங்க. எக்ஸ் என்ன கொடுப்பீங்க? எக்ஸ் என்ன கொடுப்பீங்க? அந்த பேஷண்ட்டுக்கு டோட்டல் டோசேஜ் என்ன பிரிஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணலாம்? எவ்வளவு எடுத்திருக்கிறாங்க? Total number of tablets he have taken and what is the strength of the drug he has taken. Yes, somebody. Strength. Okay, 500. Number of tablets is equal to 2. Total dose is equal to strength mg. Exactly. Right. Into number of tablets. That's it. Done. So all of that, it's very simple, right? You need to understand how we are giving the x and y and then how we can equate it. That's it. So I will just show you that typing will be time consuming. So I have taken it and I will show it to you. So now I made a small change in the program. In the next case, I made few changes in the program. Like input வாங்கிக்கிட்டு கொடுக்குற மாதிரி மாத்திருக்கிறேன், அவ்வளவுதான். இந்த ட்ரக் நேமுக்கு இவ்வளவு கிடைக்கணும் அப்படிங்கிறது நான் ஏற்கனவே சொன்னேன். ஐ ஜஸ்ட் இன்ஃபார்ம் டு யூ தட் இஃப் யூ வாண்ட் டு என்டர் த ட்ரக் நேம் யூ கேன் ப்ரொவைட் லைக் இன்புட் அப்படின்னு நீங்க கொடுத்துட்டீங்கன்னா இட் வில் ஆஸ்க் ஃபார் த ட்ரக் நேம். ஸோ ட்ரக் நேமோடைய எவ்வளவு டோசேஜ் அப்படிங்கிறது தெரிஞ்சிடும். இஃப் இட் இஸ் ரிக்வயர்ட் யூ கேன் ஆல்சோ ப்ராக்டிஸ் தட். தென் ஸ்ட்ரென்த் கேன் பி ஆல்சோ ஆஸ்க். இன்புட்டா எப்படி கொடுக்கறது அப்படிங்கிறதுக்காக நான் இக்குவேட் பண்ணி ஐ நவ் ட்ரைங் டு கிவ் யூ. ஸோ ஐஎன்டி அப்படின்னு நான் இங்க கொடுத்துருக்கிறது இட் இஸ் தி பிகாஸ் இட் இஸ் அன் இண்டீஜர். I want the input as an integer value. Then I have included tablets. Tablets also it's an integer value. And I am asking the computer to request me input the total number of tablets here. And finally, I have given the total dose calculation formula. And I want both the things. I want the drug name and the total dosage. So this is how I have written the formula. We'll see the results. And again, we'll discuss how this program was gone. Okay. Right? Now input into கொடுத்தனால it is asking first line has been processed. Now since I have given like input and the text, now the text has been provided. Inputல என்ன text இருந்ததோ அது அப்படியே வந்துருச்சு. Since I have given that value in the double quotes, it has understood, it has recognized and it has now being asked as an input value. So நான் இப்ப கொடுத்துக்கிறேன் metformin. I am providing like my drug name is metformin. ரெண்டாவது லைன்லயே நான் வந்து I am not entering the strength as such. I am asking it as an input. Now enter கொடுத்துட்டேன்னா it will go to the second line. So now it is going to the second line. Strength is equal to integer. I am expecting an integer value and the input string is also given table strength in milligram. நீங்க என்ன இன்புட்ல கொடுத்திருந்தீங்களோ ஸ்ட்ரிங்கா அந்த இன்புட்ல நீங்க கொடுத்திருந்த அந்த கண்டிஷன் வேல்யூ அப்படியே வந்துருச்சு. அதுக்கான இன்புட் என்னங்கிறது கேட்குது. ஐ எம் கிவிங் லைக் 5, right? Tablet strength is 5 milligram அப்படின்ட்டு கொடுக்குறேன். And now I am pressing the enter button. Now it asks number of tablets, right? And I input number of tablets and I am expecting an integer value. I given that integer that will code for the variable tablet. So tablet being a variable, it goes and enter like 3 tablets. Okay. And again, I am pressing the enter button. So total dosage calculate. Now fourth line has been executed. Drug எந்த ட்ரக் நீங்க மேல இன்புட் கொடுத்தீங்களோ அந்த ட்ரக்கோட நேம் வந்துருச்சு. And second thing is the total dosage of the drug is also written. So this is how input option can be introduced. So the formula எல்லாமே கரெக்ட் தான். பட் இந்த டைம் நம்ம என்ன பண்ணிருக்கிறோம், we have added an additional information there. In some situations the system has to interact with us. We need to interact with the system. So in such situations you can request the computer to ask the input. First example நம்ம என்ன பார்த்தோம்னா நம்மளே இன்புட்டை ஃபீட் பண்ணிட்டோம். செகண்ட் எக்ஸாம்பிள்ல என்ன பார்க்கிறோம், there is an interaction between the system and us. So if the system has to expect an input from you, you can provide this particular command line input. So நான் இங்க இருந்து என்னென்னலாம் இன்புட்டா வாங்கியிருக்கிறேன், 3 விஷயங்கள் இன்புட்டா வாங்கியிருக்கிறேன். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இன்புட் என்ன வாங்கியிருக்கிறேன், I have included the drug name. அது அழகா கேட்டுடுச்சு, what is the drug name. ஸோ நான் கொடுத்த டெஸ்ட்டை அப்படியே ரிஃப்ளெக்ட் பண்ணி கேட்டுடுச்சு. செகண்ட் டெக்ஸ்ட் என்ன சொல்லியிருக்கிறேன், இட்ஸ் ஐ எம் ஆஸ்கிங் த டேப்லெட் ஸ்ட்ரென்த் வேல்யூ அஸ் அன் இன்புட் அண்ட் இட் ஷுட் பி அன் இன்டீஜர் அப்படின்ட்டு தெளிவாக கொடுத்துட்டேன். ஸோ இட் இஸ் ஆஸ்கிங் அண்ட் தட் இஸ் கோடட் இன் தி வேரியபிள் ஸ்ட்ரென்த். தேர்ட் லைன் again I am requesting the total number of tablets. That text is given as an input and it is also an integer value, and that integer value is stored in the tablet. And now the formula we have given, total dosage for calculation of the total dosage, which is equal to strength into tablets. And now we are trying to print it, right? So drug நீங்க கொடுத்துக்கிட்டீங்க, drug அப்படிங்கிற இன்புட் டெக்ஸ்ட் அப்படியே வந்துடும். பிரிண்ட்ல நீங்க கொடுத்துருக்கிற ஃபங்க்ஷன் அது எந்த வேல்யூ எடுத்துட்டு வரும், ட்ரக்குங்கிற வேரியபிள்ல நீங்க என்ன வேல்யூ இன்புட்டா கொடுத்தீங்களோ that will be taken up. And finally total dosage calculation. So total dosage நீங்க என்ன இன்புட்டா கொடுத்துருக்கீங்களோ that value is calculated and it is taken at an input value and it is given. புரிஞ்சுதா? Is it done? Easy? Programming பண்ணிரலாமா? Is somebody practicing out there or you just visualizing? ஏன்னா நீங்க ப்ராக்டிஸ் பண்ணி எரர்ஸ் வந்ததுன்னா தான் அந்த செஷன் will go interesting. Yes, are you practicing? Anybody? Yes, right. So side by side you can do practice, do maximum possible errors. முடிஞ்ச வரைக்கும் நிறைய தப்பு பண்ணுங்க. நீங்க தப்பு பண்ணதான் you will try to identify where it has gone wrong. அதை என்கவுண்டர் பண்றப்ப it will be very easy for you to calculate and provide you with the answers. Okay, right. Now I will go back to the done. Everything noted. When I screenshot எடுத்து வச்சுக்கீங்க. After the sessions you can try to practice it. Check whether you are able to develop such programs, such basic calculation programs. And yes, can I go to the theory part again? Can we go to the presentations again? Yes? No? Okay? Okay, right. Right. Thank you. Okay, right. So now I come back again, I repeat again, எப்பவுமே வேரியபிள் நேமிங் நீங்க கொடுக்குறப்போ வேரியபிள் நேம் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டபிள் லாங்குவேஜ்ல கொடுங்க, ரைட்? You should not give any மீனிங் புரியுறது மாதிரி இன்டர்பிரட்டபிளா கொடுக்கிறது. It is always better. It should be case sensitive, as you pointed out. There should not be any spaces, there should not be any keyword and integer. Now you understood. int அப்படின்ட்டு போட்டீங்கனாலே it is expecting a number. And அதே இடத்துல if you expecting some value, some point in decimal, right? நீங்க இங்க பார்த்த அதே இதுல இப்ப you are expecting a decimal, where will you change, right? இப்போ டேப்லெட் வந்து சாரி ஸ்ட்ரென்த் வந்து if you are expecting it in a 0.5 அப்படி வராது யூஸ்வலா in medical terms, but you are expecting in decimal value with points. ஸ்ட்ரென்த் வந்து அப்படி வருது. இந்த கமாண்ட்ல இந்த ப்ரோக்ராம்ல என்ன சேஞ்ச் ஆகும், எந்த லைன்ல சேஞ்ச் வருது? ட்ரக்கோட ஸ்ட்ரென்த் மட்டும் யூ ஆர் எக்ஸ்பெக்டிங் இட் இன் டெசிமல் வேல்யூ 2.5 mg அப்படின்னு நீங்க கொடுக்கணும். அப்போ வாட் சேஞ்ச் வில் பி இன் தி ப்ரோக்ராம்? இந்த ப்ரோக்ராம்ல எந்த இடத்துல நீங்க சேஞ்ச் பண்ணுவீங்க? And
Instead
where
of
will you
integer,
change? Exactly. It should be float. That's it.
Yeah,
correct.
float. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. In strength, second line, instead of integer int, the command I have not taught you the command. Instead of int, we will include it as float. That's it. Simple. So when as the situation demands, just understand what has to be there and try to inbuild on that. So automatically we will be able to design in a perfect way. Right. So that is the significance of float. And you have practiced what is a variable and text value, and you have gone through it. So that's done. Okay, we have covered all these areas, right? So this is what is happening there when you did that experiment, right? So dose, it is creating a variable called dose with this particular formula. That is what has happened over there. And the print, it is displaying that particular dose. For displaying that, we have used that command line print, right? And okay. So this is one more example, right? Just to make you understand here. So what is the instruction over here, that box? What is the instruction given in the program? Or what is this program all about? Can you able to identify? I've given the program and I'm asking the question. Question number 1. What is the instruction provided here?
Total number of
Able to-
paracetamol tablets, sir.
Yeah, total strength is given
With
and
paracetamol with 500
total dosage. The
doses.
instruction is total dosage, right? So strength into tablet. That will give you the total. Second, what are the which variables are involved here? Which variables are involved here? இதில் எதெல்லாம் variable listல நீங்க எடுத்துக்கலாம்? எங்கெல்லாம்
Drug,
ஒரு values
Here,
drug,
here three variables are there: drug, strength, tablets.
that strength, tablet, and one more, and
That
one
is
more.
total.
Total, exactly right. So we have 4 variables out there. So that is done. What is the operation that is happening in this particular program? What I have displayed.
print,
Multiplication, arithmetic.
Multiplication is the operation happening. Good. Where is the result stored here? Which variable the result is stored?
Total.
Total, exactly. What output should I expect?
1,000.
1,000. That's it, right? Okay. So this is how basic calculations are about. In this way, you can also teach your students so that, of course, they are at a very faster pace. Slow, they will not be coming up with us. And the idea, they will come up with some good answers. And they will move in a very faster pace with some good examples also. So just make them to understand, sit back, ask them to give some case studies, case sheets, let them decode all this information, let them try to understand the very fundamentals of the programming, and then you can ask them or give some questions with a higher order thinking or something, so that will actually help them to tune it out. So don't forget all these things. These are the very fundamentals. And I also taught you today about how to give an input value, right? How the system can interact with you. For that also, we have discussed an example today. Like it will ask you the input. You are going to give the input for such cases how the program has to be done, right? So we have also done that, and these are some of the core Python functions which should be available with, right? This we will be using in the subsequent classes, right? So that is done. Yeah, somebody has done it. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Perfect. Right. So this we have done. Okay, somebody who can do this calculation and provide me the answer. I want to calculate the intravenous infusion rate. I have given both the things. I am providing the patient with 1,000 ml saline for a period of 8 hours. It is taking a period of 8 hours, right? So what is the infusion rate? So this is the crux. Can somebody do it in programming and as such? Can you type the code out here, or you can do it in either way, in an interactive way or in a normal way. Choice is yours. I'm ready to accept anything. நீங்க இன்புட் இன்டராக்டிவா கேட்டு எழுதுறதுக்கு ஃபார்முலா எழுதினாலும் ஓகே தான், மீன்ஸ் கோட் எழுதினாலும் ஓகே தான். இல்ல டைரக்டா டு கம் அப் வித் தி ஆன்சர் ஆல்சோ இட் இஸ் ஓகே ஃபார் மீ. Okay. Yeah, this is the answer. But somebody, can you give me the code? Can somebody type and provide the code in the chat box? Code. Who is ready? Anything is accepted, either interactive or direct. Okay, okay, right. We will go with the direct. Muthukumaran sir has started. Volume is equal to 1000. Accepted. First variable volume, the value coded is 1000. Done. Followed by, okay, time is equal to 8. Okay, T for T could be small. Better if it is small. Yes. Okay, done. Third one. Very good. Rate equal to volume into time. Yes, that's it. Next line, next line. Yes. Yeah, of course, we will correct it one by one. Because type pandrapo, it comes like that. Though we are conscious, but typing automatically it is auto, like first letter will be a capital letter. And last will be rate is equal to volume in the time. So your answer is now in the variable rates. Now we want to visualize what is in that rate. How? What function can be used? Right. Volume in ml, okay. Right, time in hours, okay. Volume and text, code and text combined around. It will be confusing. Text தனியா தான் இருக்கணும். This has to be separate. Okay, முடிஞ்சது ரேட் எல்லாம் முடிச்சிட்டாங்க. But final output, Muthukumaran sir, last 2 lines or 1 line. Rate equal to, very good, volume divided by time, corrected. Last, அவ்வளவுதான் முடிஞ்சது. எஸ், எக்ஸாக்ட்லி. இன்ஃபியூஷன் ரேட் இஸ் ஈக்குவல் டு ஸ்ட்ரிங் அப்படியே வந்துருச்சு. ரேட் வேல்யூ டீகோட் பண்ணிடுச்சு. எம்எல் க்ளோசிங், ஓகே, பர்ஃபெக்ட். எம்எல் பர் அவர், ரைட். சூப்பர் மேம், தேங்க்யூ, தேங்க்யூ. யா, தேங்க்யூ வெரி மச். ஐ ஹோப் யூ ஹவ் அண்டர்கான் திஸ். பட் இதுல ஒன்னே ஒரு கரெக்ஷன் என்னன்னா, திஸ் இஸ் த கரெக்ஷன். நீங்க ஃப்ளோட் கொடுத்துறது இருக்கலாம், ஏன்னா தேர் இஸ் அ சான்ஸ் தட் வால்யூம் கேன் ஆல்சோ கம் இன். பட் நம்ம கேஸ்ல இட் இஸ் நாட் தேர். But in future, when there is a scope that it can be an floating value, please indicate float there. You have done the, நான் கொடுத்த கேஸுக்கு you have provided me the right answer. But in such situations, that can also be added or taken into an consideration. I expected. யாராவது ஒரு ஆள் அந்த மாதிரி கொஞ்சம் கிரிட்டிக்கலா திங்க் பண்ணீங்கன்னு பார்த்தேன். But point is that you have understood the concept there, but their float is not required, so you have not thought about that. But when there is a chance that there could be float value which is coming.
Sorry for interruption. I'm having one doubt.
Yeah.
So actually,
yes, sir.
Last print option, why not it should be volume into time, and after that semicolon ml per hour.
After எந்த statements are சொல்றீங்க?
Last print that we can
okay, print infusion rate. Infusion rateங்கிறது அப்படியே வந்துரும். It's a value. So அந்த text அப்படியே வந்துரும். It's a text indicated in, so that will come as such. And அதோட சேர்த்து அடுத்து கால் பண்ணியிருக்கிறது நீங்க ரேட் அப்படிங்கிற வேரியபிள் எடுத்துருக்கிறீங்க. ரேட் அப்படியே வந்துரும். And unit is coming there. Okay, sir. Now your question, sir.
Sir, actually my question is, the print option should be like whatever that has been showed in the slide. We should give exactly our, because we are calculating the infusion. That is what we are expecting as output. So why not here instead of infusion rate, volume? Why it won't come?
நீங்க ரேட் கூட கொடுத்துக்கலாம், தப்பு இல்ல.
Okay, sir. So that is,
நீங்க என்ன வேணா கொடுத்துக்கலாம். ஸ்ட்ரிங்ல நீங்க கொடுத்துருக்கீங்களா, டபுள் கோட்ஸ்ல கொடுத்துருக்கோம்ல சார், எது வேணா கொடுத்துக்கலாம். இட் இஸ் அப் டு யுவர் கிரியேட்டிவிட்டி. அது எப்படி சிஸ்டம்ல டிஸ்ப்ளே ஆகணும்னு நினைக்கிறீங்களோ தட் யூ கேன் டு.
okay sir. That's
பட்
what
செகண்ட் அந்த கமா போட்டதுக்கு அப்புறம் ரேட்ன்ட்டு கொடுக்குறீங்க பாத்தீங்களா, தட் ஷுட் மேட்ச் தி வேரியபிள். தேர்ட் லைன்ல நான் ரேட்ன்ட்டு கொடுத்துருக்கிறேன், அது மேட்ச் ஆகணும். மேட்ச் ஆகலைன்னா எரர் வந்துடும். யூனிட் கொடுக்கறதும் கொடுக்காததும் உங்களோட இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட். நீங்க அது பெர்ஃபெக்ட்டா தெரியும்னு நினைச்சீங்கன்னா யூனிட்டோட நீங்க டிஸ்ப்ளே பண்ணலாம். டபுள் கோட்ஸ்ல again it will be also considered as a string. So print ஆகறப்ப ரெண்டு ஸ்ட்ரிங் வந்துருது, ஒரு வேரியபிளை கால் ஃபார் பண்ணி ஆன்சர் வந்துருது. That's it.
Okay, sir. That's what I got confused. Otherwise, I will type.
Okay.
ML per hour. If you are not
ML
giving
per hour, as string ஆ கொடுத்துருக்கோம் சார். We have given it like a string.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, right. ஏன்னா இது ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் ரைட்டர்ஸ் நானுமே ஆரம்பத்தில் ஆரம்பிக்கிறப்போ all these confusions came. இப்போ டைப் பண்ணாலும் தப்பா தான் டைப் பண்ணுவோம். ஏன்னா like it will not go it right. So that's not an issue. When you practice again and again, practice விட today's scenario practice is not required. All AI tools are giving you the complete script, right? அதிலே இப்போ see, we are doing it in Google Colab. ChatGPT itself has a platform where you can run the commands and you can visualize the results. And the developments has happened. So that's not an issue. When the concept is understood, you can easily disseminate it with your students. So that's it. I stopped with this here. I had one more example also. If possible, you can take it over and try it. Tomorrow we'll discuss this answer and start with the second part, if-else statements or means automation, that we will start with tomorrow. Yes. So this you can take it as an exercise. If required, you can do it. Ward level tablet procurement, how it has to be done. How many tablets must be the hospital pharmacy procured to cover this entire population? So there are 250 patients. 7 days they are going to be there, and for each patient 2 tablets per day. Total volume is going to be 3,500 tablets. But how you are going to write this in a program? So this I am giving is as an activity. You can do it, and of course you can let us know. And I will also post a small MCQ session just to get an understanding and just for a feedback for me that how many of you have got the concepts right. So if possible, just make a try in that MCQ link also. We will also go through. I'll just இது ரிலேட்டடாக தான் இருக்கும். இன்டீஜர் அந்த கன்ஃபியூஷன்ஸ் உங்களால் ஓவர் கம் பண்ண முடியுதான்னு பார்க்குறதுக்காக just a 20 questions whenever you get time, but most probably before tomorrow's session, if possible, try to use it out so that we next session போறப்ப it will be easy for you. இன்னைக்கு கன்ஃபியூஷனே இல்லாத ப்ரோக்ராம்ஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். நாளைக்கு கொஞ்சம் கன்ஃபியூஷன்ஸ் இருக்கிற ப்ரோக்ராம், நிறைய எரர்ஸ் வரக்கூடிய ப்ரோக்ராம்ஸ் நாளைக்கு பார்ப்போம். And tomorrow, if time permits, we'll also try to upload a file and try to analyze it. அப்பதான் the last day we will be comfortably doing the analytics part, right? Okay. So is it done? Yes. Any doubts? Any other doubts? Okay, right. Any other suggestions? We can always post in the chat box. The chat box is also okay. You can also post in the group. Thank you all very much. With your permission, I am winding up the session today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful, insightful, hands-on demonstrations. Today's session has given us a practical glimpse of how programming can be applied to pharmaceutical calculations and how these computational approaches can make our more efficient and systematic. On behalf of Periyar College of Pharmaceutical Sciences, we sincerely thanks Dr. A. Ronaldo Anup, sir, for sharing their valuable knowledge and experience with us. And I thank all the participants for your active participations and enthusiasm. With this, we come to an end of today's session. We look forward to having you all with us in the upcoming session as we continue this interesting learning journey. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Meet
sir.
you all tomorrow. Thank you. Any
Yes,
doubts
sir.
you can post in the group. I will try to respond it. Thank you.